Good morning, everyone. This is Rina Little from Littleworks Indie Media, and we are ready to go live. I'm just going to hit it right here. Let's see if that worked. Now the go live. Oh, something's happening. This is very exciting. The preview is loading. And there's the preview. Okay, I feel confident that this is now going live. Hi, everyone. Again, I'm Rina Little from Littleworks Indie Media, and
I'm Greg McKinnon with the original 72 creator.
And we're here today to talk about the building blocks for WordPress. Is that right, Greg?
It is right, yes.
Excellent.
Sorry, there was a little bit of feedback there probably because I was opening the live on the group for a second.
Right. All right.
I was muted, but then you asked me a question, and I'm like, damn it!
I know, I'm sorry. I know. We didn't really rehearse this too much. So, Greg...
First day using some new software for the streaming, so I mean, we're only 9 minutes away. It's not too bad.
Oh, you just drew attention to that. I'm hoping everyone shows up later to watch, but we'll see. Great. So, Greg, I know that you work a lot with these blocks. I'm only minorly familiar with them, so you're going to be our expert today, and I'm going to hopefully help add some questions to the conversation and get us going. So do you want to just tell us, it's been a big change with WordPress lately, hasn't it?
Yeah, as everybody knows, the WordPress for the longest time, there was what is called now the classic editor, which was basically just a big box that you could type in, much like a word processor, and then there was buttons at the top of that where you could bold and set links and italicize, or even change something from a paragraph to a heading. And it was very, very limited in layout. And that's why the rise of page builders became so popular.
So when
because the page builders were able to give you way more flexibility to create different layouts that you wanted.
That's right.
And so at some point, WordPress obviously realized this was where things were going. Other platforms were coming in place that had more of sort of this block builder style, much like the page builders that were coming in WordPress. And so they switched focus to build WordPress so that was natively the way that you could also edit.
Right. So let me just.
And then you wouldn't need to use page builders like Elementor and
right.
Things like that.
That's what I wanted to get into. So we're actually talking about WordPress's replacement for Elementor, Aveda, and what are some of the other ones that we've heard of?
Baseline, I think.
Oh, right. And there's another big one. Right, Baker Builder. Yeah, that's right. So there are a bunch of them, and essentially they're drag and drop. They're either drag and drop formatting sections that you can use to format your text so it's not just one big block, or it can offer pre-done types of content, so checklists and titles and what else, like things that do things like rotate and they have built-in functionality.
They're pretty fancy. They can do all kinds of like rollover effects and hover images, overlays, all kinds of stuff.
So what this is when Greg said, so now you can just get that within WordPress. You don't actually have to buy a plugin or a special template or anything like that to get that kind of easy to. It's almost like you can, if you don't want anything too fancy that's not customizable, you can pretty much do a lot of things with this without having any coding skills. So that's basically where we're at. And you can update things. Like in the olden days when it was one big editor box, I always messed up the columns. I would get Josh to put in some nice column code for me, and then I could never add anything to those columns. I had to give him the content to fill those columns. So this is just a really nice, easy way of being able to do these things, take more control over your content, and your website ultimately yourself as a business owner or whoever you are, without having to invest in the coding.
Now, the thing about the block builder that makes it easier is that, just a note, Rina, they're saying that my sound might need to be adjusted in Ecamm.
Oh, no. Okay, hang on a second. How do I do that? Because you sound great to me, as always. Okay, so, where is the sound? Hang on one second. Maybe... Oh,
maybe you can just turn my audio down in Ecamm.
Yeah, I can't even find where the audio section is, though.
Oh.
Source, let me see. Mic, overlays, recording. Audio monitor. I don't know. Oh dear. Is Pip there giving us? No.
Pip and Phelan just mentioned that I'm sounding very tinny.
Okay, well, if they have any specific instructions of where I can find...
He says go to the header menu.
I'm in there, okay.
Yeah. Waiting on next instruction.
Oh, the life of technology. It's, this is the thing about it, though, is that really you just need to get on and get comfortable and continue doing it, even though the tech glitches every now and again and you don't always know what you're doing. Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah, you put in the header menu of Ecamm, then go to options, I think.
Oh, I'm in options. Okay. No. That's not it. Okay, it must be an output. So audio monitor is off. So let's see if I turn audio monitor on.
Because you're looking for Windows and then bring all forward.
I'm looking for, sorry, I missed that.
Windows.
There's no Windows. Oh, okay, got it. All to front, bring all to front. Okay.
Yeah. And then look for window and then sound level.
Oh yeah, here we've got a big, okay. How's that? I'm still getting use echo cancellation.
Asking her if it's better.
Is that better?
Now.
That might be better. I'm not getting the...
Yeah, no, it sounds better to me too.
Good. Okay, great. All right, let's go back to our editors. So you started to say something about why or how great it was or something like that.
Yeah, well, to your point of, you used to have to use this large block where you just put all of your content in with Josh, who would help create some type of code that would give you columns. And then in the editor, in the admin, it doesn't really work well. And you can't go in and properly change things. It'll mess it up. You would have to go into the code view if you wanted to really try to do something.
Yeah.
So the way that the block editor works now is I'm just gonna say block based because I don't know how to really describe it. But basically you put in a block that is a column block. And you set up that column block, how many columns you want, and all of the settings for that. And then once you've done that, in each column, you can insert other blocks for text or images.
Yeah.
So controlling the layout is completely block-based, and you basically insert blocks to create these advanced layouts. And you can control each of the blocks independently of the other blocks.
Yeah.
Drag and drop them around.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff. So.
Yeah, that's my favorite part. So then instead of actually, if you decide that your content doesn't really fit in the configuration that you originally imagined and you want to move it around, instead of having to completely, or reorganize your code, you just take the little block and you just move it around, and you can adjust your columns live. You don't have to go and mess everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really
So
great. I really love it. But do you think that this is going to actually change or the way the internet looks? Like, when WordPress first came out, there was really a WordPress aesthetic that came with WordPress. Do you think
yeah,
it's going to do
I
the
had
same
a
thing?
lot of clients that were like, I want to redo my site, but I don't want it to look like a WordPress site.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got that a lot, and yes, so because of the limitations of that old editor, where you just basically had a big space where you could put a bunch of text, really, and maybe format an image to the left or the right
Yeah.
or the middle. It was very limiting, and all WordPress sites really did look the same. They had a header, they had a sidebar, and then they had a main content area that just had a big bunch of text.
Yes.
They were pretty ugly. I mean, we're coming from a platform that really was designed initially as a blogging platform, right?
Yep.
Um, so so it's not surprising that that's how things were set up initially, and it's expanded over its life to be more CMS like in its abilities. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Because you can still see where people have used templates because they'll have two sentences for the description of what their company is, and then they'll go all the way to both ends, and it's really kind of funny to look at. It's in regular paragraph font, and it's just like, oh
yeah.
yeah, they used a template or they did their site themselves.
Or they have like the two column layout where it's the
Yeah.
main content and the sidebar has all of like the standard heading and then archive links of
Yeah.
posts or some type of menu,
Yeah.
or I forget what they call it, the meta words,
Mm-hmm.
where they just were all words that were links
Yeah.
to categories or tags in the
Tag
system.
clouds. The tag
This is
clouds.
very, very standard stuff and not very fun to look at,
Yeah,
really.
it just gets the same. It's the same. So, okay, so I've
So,
got two questions about it. Um,
yeah,
what happens? Like, one of the things that I don't like about using those block editors that were plugin based, or like the Aveda theme in particular, because I've inherited a whole pile of Aveda theme
mm,
sites. And what I find most tricky about them is that when I want to do the site, like, sites need redoing every now and again because the for a lot of reasons. So if we use those sort of drag and drop sort of components in WordPress, and then we want to change to a completely new WordPress, are we going to be able to import that formatting in when we import content to a new theme, for example?
yeah. Well, the benefit of using the native block builder now would be that you could literally switch to any theme that you like, and the content that you've implemented on the pages will be will still be formatted the same.
Still be formatted.
To
Good.
the most part, the theme itself may have global styles that might change the font
Right.
size and colors and things like
Yeah,
that.
that's okay. I
But
don't mind that.
but for the most part, your content that you've created, the layout itself,
That's good.
will remain because you use the native block builder.
That's good. So I know that you love using cadence themes. So is this
Yeah.
going to adjust what you work with moving forward?
No, for because I've been using WordPress and implementing sites on WordPress for like 12 years now. So, and I was never a huge fan of the block builder. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to add that extra plugin
Mm-hmm.
to create that functionality. I typically built all my sites, and if we needed more advanced layouts, we would custom code
Yeah.
the way that layout needed to be and give the customer the ability in the back end if they needed a certain layout
Right.
to have that, but then just plug in the information where they need it so that it comes out on the page the way we want it. as opposed to giving them that ability of you create the layout yourself with this editor.
Right. Okay. So my question was, is this going to affect the way that you think about using Cadence, or will you go straight to the block editor in WordPress?
Well, because I never used any of the page builders,
Hmm.
although the block builder is native to WordPress, it's just expanded the way that you can create the content within WordPress. I've always used whatever was natively available in WordPress in all of the themes I've created. It has nothing to do with using Cadence or any other theme. It's just the way that you use WordPress itself to
Right.
insert all of your content. Now, with that being said, the block builder still is, I would say, developing. It was not great when it was first implemented, and it's
Yeah.
much better now. It does have the drag and drop functionality, like most page builders have. And there are a lot of plugins that will add additional block functionality, and I do use the Cadence Blocks
Yeah.
plugin
Yeah.
with the Cadence themes that I create, which give that additional block layouts
Hmm.
so that I can use them within. And with that, I'll note that the block uh, the additional block plugins that you could use, there's Cadence blocks, there's other ones available, advanced blocks, I think there's one called. And these are plugins that will extend the block options, and are typically not theme specific,
Right.
even though a lot of the themes do have, their specific block
Yeah.
options. You can actually use, and I do this, I use Cadence blocks on some old Genesis sites that
Yeah.
I've built, and it works perfectly fine. And if
Yeah.
I change that theme out to something else, again, you're using the block editor, so you're not changing that block plugin, so all of those layouts will still work.
So, okay, so I've got that brings me to two more questions. So, if you use the Cadence block editor and then you want to update the site later on, will the is the Cadence formatting a proprietary thing, or will that will actually bring the formatting into newer versions then if you import? Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
The,
And then
the
last,
only thing
yeah,
that you would lose
yeah,
is if there was any theme-related global
yes,
stylings.
yes,
By changing to another theme, you may lose some of the stylings
yeah.
of the old theme you were using, but that's theme dependent, not
And
block
generally
dependent.
speaking, you're going to want to change the theme dependent things anyways if you're doing an update
That's right.
regardless. And if you don't, then you can just go into the themes and change them to whatever you want.
Yeah.
Um, okay, then the last thing is how is this going to affect the speed of the site compared to some of the block builder sites? Like some of those block builder sites score really low on the speed tests when they get bulky with a lot of blog articles. So
Yeah.
we want to keep those, those stats nice and fast. Like that's why I'm moving all of the clients that were on Aveda. I am moving them off Aveda because they're beasts of sites, and it doesn't matter how much I compress the files and minify the script and blah blah blah. It's really hard to get a good rating out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the speed thing is huge. Obviously, everybody knows this because of the Core Web Vitals. So the benefit of using a native block builder is one, you're not installing some type of page builder to get the functionality like Elementor. If
Yeah.
you do use a page builder like Elementor, what's happening, and this may change over time, but the way that it was built is when you build a page using Elementor on your site, it's loading all of the styles available on that page, all the scripts, anything that might be needed on that page, and it's adding to the weight of that page, and
Yes.
how big it is to load. When you use the Gutenberg editor or Cadence blocks, additionally, like I do, the only the code that is required for any blocks that you've actually used in the page get loaded on the page.
Ah,
Not every option of something that
oh,
you
that's
might have
good.
used.
That's so much better.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent.
So if, for instance, you use some type of a, rotating image gallery on one page, but
Yeah,
not on the other, on the page that you've used it, that code would get loaded with that page, so it can be in use. But on another page, it's not being that script. Those scripts and things don't get loaded because it's not needed.
good. That's good news. That's good news.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay. Well,
So there was a couple of things now that we've talked a lot about the benefits of using the block builder and some of the history of it. I wanted to go through really quickly some of the things that you can do to make it easier for yourself to use the block builder while you're creating pages and little tricks that you can do. So when you're editing a page and you have the blocks all in there, um, basically there's a couple of settings, and you're going to see a screen that's basically the how you're going to build the page, and then there's like a sidebar with settings. And every time you click within one of the blocks, that sidebar will change with the specific settings that you
yeah.
can change for the block that you currently have selected. So that's how it works. You can drag and drop directly within the interface, or if you want to do more advanced moving things around on the page, there's a hierarchical menu that you can click, and it looks like a ladder or stairs at the top. It's a little icon. If you toggle that, you'll get a second sidebar on the left side with basically every block and how it's nested within the page. And you can literally take one of those and just drag it to a different spot on the page, and it will change it for you. So that makes it really easy to move your content around for sure.
I think you should
There's
do
another thing that is interesting that I like to use because I do install that Cadence blocks options, which have a lot of duplicate block options. Gutenberg, the native block builder, has an image block, a paragraph block, heading blocks, things like that. Well, Cadence block also has more advanced header blocks or image blocks or things to create rows and columns. So what I like to do is I like to go up into the settings, and the settings menu is in the top right. It's the three dots. If you go into the settings, you can actually click on preferences, which is right at the very bottom, and you can set preferences of what you want to see in the block builder. And so you can literally go and toggle on or off if you want to use the header block or the paragraph block of the native block builder or not. So because I want all my customers to use the heading block from Cadence, I turn off the option to insert the header block of the native block
right.
builder. So they will never find that when they try to enter
Right.
a heading. They'll only
That's
get
good. So
the
you
Cadence
kind of make
header
it,
option.
yeah.
So you can literally turn on and off all kinds of the blocks if you don't even want to see them in the block builder, or you don't want your customer to see them in the block builder.
That's actually pretty good because that's one of the things about having people manage their own site and manage their own content is that sometimes they can't see or they don't understand how things are set up formatting wise and how important it is to keep that standard consistent formatting and how it's organized and to go with their branding and all of that sort of stuff. So
Yeah,
that's actually pretty handy. So then you can create um, client proof websites.
you could try. I try. So there's also another thing that I thought definitely worth mentioning, um, which is the fact that you can switch a block to another type of block. And basically and when you're editing blocks, you click within the block and you get a little pop-up above it with some settings, and the rest of the settings are in that sidebar. But in that little pop-up, if you click one of the very first options, which is the symbol of what the block is, if you were to click that, it would pop up the other block options, and you could choose. So if you want a paragraph turned into a heading, you
Oh,
could click
right.
the little key icon of this, signifying that this is a paragraph option.
Yeah.
Click that, it'll pop up the menu, and you could literally choose, I actually want this to be a heading instead, or I want
I think
this to be a button.
I think what would be super great is if you created a little tutorial that actually showed your screen doing this. I think we
I
should
know,
do
it was
that.
funny because when I came up with this
I
topic, I was
know.
like, oh, this would be
I
great. I
know.
really want
I
people
didn't
to
realize we were
understand
going to
how
have so much
great
how
the block
to.
editor
Yeah,
is.
the how
And
to.
like, it just needs visuals.
It does. It really does. Yeah, but it's great to know that it has that much capacity and flexibility. I think that's pretty good to know. And then let's do that. I think we should sit down and figure out how to create that little tutorial, and you can lead that, and we'll put that up on the group. Um,
And one last thing, I know
yeah.
we're not over time. We probably have 5 minutes ish for
Well,
30 minutes, but we started late. But
yeah,
I
we
did
have.
want to make mention
Yeah.
of the fact that you can, when you create a layout,
Hmm.
or a style in your site that you like, and you're like, I want to use this on multiple pages,
Oh, yeah.
you can actually create, um, a a template of that,
Yeah.
what they're called is reusable block.
Yeah.
So when you create a block that you like the layout, or something that you don't just want on one page, but you want on multiple pages, you can select that block and basically click the three little, I don't know what that icon is called with the
I don't
three
know
dots.
either. The three dots, because it used to be easier when it was a hamburger, but it's not a hamburger.
Yeah, I know.
I
Anyways,
feel like
so
I'm
if
thinking
you
about
click
that.
it on any block or something that you like the entire layout of, if you select it all and click those three dots, it pulls up the menu, and you can click a button or an option that says "Add to reusable blocks." And so what that's going to do is it's going to create a reusable block pattern of that content that you've created. And on any other page that you're creating, when you're inserting something, you can choose to insert that reusable block. So it will be the identical thing on every page that you insert that on. And it will save you a lot of time, especially if you have things that you want, like a mailing list sign up, maybe. Maybe you want your mailing list sign up on a couple of different
Oh,
pages. You create it once, create a reusable pattern, or reusable block out of it, and then on any page that you want it on, you just insert that reusable
yeah.
block. It's the exact same look, exact same functionality, just on the other page.
Yeah, that's super great. So that is actually called the more options icon, but I really feel like it should have a snappy name like hamburger.
Yeah.
What do you?
Oh, it's called the more options. Huh? Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's officially called. Reddit told me so.
Who wouldn't think three dots means more options?
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So, I mean, yeah. Do you have any final? I mean, I could probably go on for a while
I
about
bet
this.
you
I know
could.
we're
This is why
pretty much at
we're
time.
definitely
So,
doing a tutorial
if
because
you
it
have any other questions or things that you want to say before we wrap up, let me know.
No, I think we hit all of them. The flexibility of getting it from what the formatting from one site to a new site, the keeping it fast, moving fast, and then sort of like the basics of how it works and why it's great. I think we've covered everything that I thought we should really hit, and I'm at
Yeah.
9% battery level.
Just in time.
And we've gone for 29 minutes and 54 seconds, so we're good.
Perfect.
All right, so thank you so much for everyone who was able to join. And if you're seeing this on a repeat, please leave us a comment or any questions that you might have, and we'll definitely get back to you. I'm definitely going to get Greg on that tutorial so that you can actually see how to use it step by step and try it out for yourself. And meet us next week. When the topic is, do we know? Why do I never look?
It's an SEO topic. I know that.
It's an SEO topic. Okay, so if you're into SEO, join us here next week. We are in the Cyberpunks Marketing Mixer Facebook group. If you're seeing us anywhere else, join us next week at 11 a.m. ish. I'm gonna say it. Well, it won't. It won't be me running the eCam, so we'll probably be right on time. Have a great week, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.